Good morning, juniors. This is Mr. C, College Advising Manager with I Know I Can.
And I am Ms. T. I am the College Success Coach here at I Know I Can.
This morning, we're going to take a couple of minutes to go over some additional items to keep in mind when thinking about and preparing for the SAT or ACT. The ACT and SAT generally cover the same topics. Both exams are widely accepted by colleges and universities within the US, with the purpose of both exams would be to determine college readiness. Both tests generally cover the same materials, but can vary in structure and timing. Like I mentioned, the biggest differences with the ACT and SAT are formatting and timing. Many experts recommend taking a practice test online to determine which test is better structured for you. The ACT typically is better suited for students with a strong English background since it has an emphasis on verbal skills. Students with a strong background in math-related subjects have been seen to do well with the SAT. However, the best way to judge which test is best for you is to take an online practice test and see for yourself. The SAT takes 3 hours to complete, and the ACT takes 2 hours and 55 minutes. Though, if you add on the optional writing test, which is an additional 40 minutes, that would push the ACT to a little over 3.5 hours. The cost of the exams also vary. The SAT typically costs $52. The ACT typically costs $55 for only the exam. If you add on the optional writing test, that would be a total of $70 for the ACT. Additional fees may apply for other options such as late registration. Some students might qualify for a test fee waiver. You'll need to talk to your I Know I Can representative or high school counselor for more information on the test fee waivers.
A student can take the ACT or SAT multiple times. On average, a student will take the ACT or SAT 2 to 3 times. Many students will see score improvements by retaking the ACT or SAT. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to retake either the ACT or SAT before completing college admissions applications. Set clearly defined goals. Students tend to achieve what they believe they can score. Identify what score matters to you, and then set it as your target to hit. Study with regular hours. Block out regular times on your calendar to study and stick to it. This is the best way to see improvements on your scores. Utilize the resources online. There are plenty of free resources available online, such as practice tests, word of the day, and question of the day. Kaplan, an online ACT prep organization, offers virtual classes to teach strategies on how to study and prepare for the test. Be honest about where you are now. If you have scored a 25 on your practice test, you are likely to receive a similar score when it comes to taking the actual test.
90% of schools listed on the US News Top 100 Liberal Arts Schools and Top 100 Universities nationwide are going to a test optional format. Essentially, this means that test scores are not required to complete the admissions process. All items submitted by a student will be reviewed during the holistic review process. A student's high school transcript will be evaluated heavier to determine college readiness and will have a higher impact on a student's admissions decision. If deciding to opt out of submitting your test scores, it is highly recommended to complete any optional essays, submit letters of recommendation, and explain any extracurricular activities a student might be involved in, including work. Keep in mind that while college admissions applications might not require test scores to be submitted, ACT or SAT scores can still be a requirement for scholarship consideration. Many scholarship opportunities have an academic requirement, which can be based on high school GPA, courses taken, or even a test score requirement such as the ACT or SAT. Even if you're applying to a school that does not require a test score to be submitted for admission, contact their financial aid office to see if that will have an impact on your financial aid eligibility or opportunities. Many external scholarships coming from an outside source like a company, nonprofit, church, etc., will require an academic component in order to be eligible to apply for their scholarships. This means you might still be required to submit your test scores for scholarship consideration. It is still important to do as well as you can on the ACT or SAT. An example of an external scholarship would be the Ohio Township Scholarship, which would equal $1,500. That requires a minimum of a 22 ACT to be considered for the scholarship, which is important to focus on your ACT or ACT preparation, since you still might have to submit those to be considered for scholarship opportunities. If you have any questions or additional information, feel free to reach out to myself or Ms. T, located in the back of the ERC under the college banners.
Thank you, guys.